Soundstripe.
Well, hey there, zombie. How are you today? How you doing? I'm in Santa Fe. It's quite a bit cooler today than it was for the first part of the, well, during the weekend was miserable. I'm telling you what. I finally gave in and got a camp spot, a paid-for place here at an RV place to hunker down for a few days. If you saw, hang on just a second, I gotta take care of something. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Had a little kitty cat come visit Archie over here, and thought that thought he's gonna move in. I don't think so. Uh, so, yeah, I finally made it here to Santa Fe. Actually, I shouldn't say finally, because I really didn't plan on being here this soon. I wanted to kind of take my time getting down here, but just before, well, actually, as soon as I hit Pueblo, I don't know what's that been. I don't know when I was in Pueblo, a week ago, 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I think, is when I left Colorado. But when I was there, the generator decided that it didn't want to gen no more. So I actually it starts right up and runs like a champ, but I'm not getting electricity from the generator to the converter. And even though I got solar, I got 400 watts of solar and whatnot, it's just not enough power to run the air conditioner during the day. Hey Rico, how are you? Good to see ya. So what I ended up doing was just kind of putting up with it, but I'd also been around 7,000-8,000 feet in altitude, so and the weather hasn't really gotten too awful hot at those altitudes. But as soon as I start coming down into, here's the problem, and here's the reason that I ended up coming down. As you know, as I was doing my boondocking, and you saw that the night that I was in the Dawson Cemetery, Starlink, by the way, worked awesome. It was so cool, and I finally got it wired up so that I can run another repeater out about another 100 yards from the RV, which gives me so much more power, and that'll be great when I'm out there in the boondocks, and let's say I'm in an abandoned location. I can move that repeater inside the abandoned location and give you a better signal while I'm exploring or doing a ghost hunt or whatever. You'll still have a stronger signal, even stronger than Starlink. Well, because it'll be extending the area. It won't be stronger, but it will extend the area that Starlink can stream from. So I'm pretty excited about that. However, now we get to the problem again. Let's see. Oh, it's going to get hot, yeah. And the further south that I go, the worse it gets, and definitely the hotter it gets. And I'm finding out there's no water in New Mexico. I'm within a mile, half mile from the Santa Fe River. It's dry as a bone. There's nothing there but hot sand. There's no sources of water. Also, I've noticed too that apparently tall trees can't grow here, because you see very, very, very few tall trees, and the ones that are standing are so small that really you don't get a lot of shade off of them, and especially when you're sitting in an RV, so there's nowhere to hide from the sun. And it became hotter and hotter and hotter and more difficult for me. Even at night, I mean, it would cool down to 60, and I have fans and whatnot, but it was still miserable sleeping. And finally I just said, screw it, I've got to get to a bigger city and find a place that I can get the parts. Well, I checked in Trinidad before I left Colorado. None of the auto parts store. Everybody was saying it was going to be a week or so. There was not even an RV repair service there to just go get it fixed, which I'm willing to do. So I said, screw it, I'm going to move on into New Mexico. Well, at the top of just about 2 miles out of New Mexico, there's a place called Wootton. And Wootton has, what is it, trying to think here, gosh, if I wasn't trying to think of it, I'd think of it. Aloysius, there we go, the Aloysius Church, the old, and you look as you go over Raton Pass, and you could see it sitting on a hilltop, and all that's left of it is the front facade and a few crumpled walls on the side. And they've taken all the floorboards out of the church to reuse at another location, but it was in a little coal mining town at the top of Raton Pass. And my intention was to hang out there on Raton Pass, spend a few days. They've got a nice little stream running through there. I was parked right next to it. Great little stream. I was going to do some prospecting and some exploring up on the mountaintop there and take you guys up to Aloysius. However, the altitude became a quick thing for me. Up around 9,000 feet, I was kind of huffing for air. And without the generator here again, I didn't even have oxygen to come back to. And it was kind of a struggle right off the get-go for just breathing purposes. And so I thought, well, maybe this is not such a good idea. So I decided to go ahead and go over the top, go in through Raton, and I hightailed it on into Dawson Cemetery, which is where you guys caught up with me about this time last week. I can't remember days. They just flow together. And had a great time in Dawson. I spent 2 days there, spending the night the entire time in the cemetery. The coolest part about that was little, what was her name? Nanny Hill, the grave that was left open. Actually, the sarcophagus had gotten broken somehow, and you could look down inside of it and you could see the casket inside the grave there. That was kind of cool. As far as it being, on the list of the top 10 most haunted places in New Mexico, it's kind of like the Stanley Hotel. I think it just makes the list because it's kind of a popular place, but it really, in my opinion, nothing happened too crazy. The first night was probably the most exciting for me because, as I said, I came in from Raton, and by the time I got into the cemetery, it was like 6:30, 7 o'clock at night, and all I could focus on was going ahead, getting set up, getting the camp, the RV ready for the night, and cook up some dinner. So I didn't do any investigation at all. And so then later on that night, I went to bed early. I went to bed like 10 o'clock, which is totally unusual, but kind of where I'm falling into, guys. Really, I mean, while I'm traveling, I could stay up all night, but when I'm in the RV, and especially having electrical problems, rather than using up my electrical resources, I just go to bed. What the hell, So, at any rate, long about, and I'm guessing probably around midnight, I hear this scream out in the cemetery, out in the corner, oddly enough, up by the corner, the end where Nanny was buried, the gal that her grave was exposed. So I look out there, and I don't see anything because my bed's got a big window and I can look right out. I didn't see anything. So, probably a coyote or something, I didn't put a whole lot of thought into it. And then about 1 o'clock in the morning, I'd hear over on that side of the camper. And then over on this side of the camp right here, And I'd look out, didn't see anything, and then it happened a third time up towards the front of the RV. So I open up the door and I look out and I don't see anything. Look around, grab a flashlight, look around the RV. There's nothing around me for miles and miles and miles. So I don't know what the heck was tapping on my RV, but that was kind of strange. I was tired. I just said, and I fell asleep. And then when I woke up, then I was able to kind of plan an investigation for the night. I did get I guess he would be the ranch boss. He did come up to see what I was up to, because around that entire cemetery for miles and miles there's thousands of acres that belong to the CS Ranch Company. And in fact, the cemetery sits on private property, and you're allowed to go into the cemetery, and there's signs that tell you you have to stay within the perimeters of the established parking lot going into the cemetery, which I was, and no big deal. And so he drove up to see what my intentions was, and I said, well, I'm planning actually to hang out. I'm a content creator on several different platforms, and I'm going to do a paranormal investigation tonight here at the cemetery, if you guys don't mind. And he said, well, on the sign, I think it says no overnight parking, and I pulled up a picture, and it doesn't say that. He said, well, that's my mistake, because it should, but it's okay. Go ahead and hang out, just don't leave your trash. And then he went on into telling me some horror stories about the stuff people have left there, which I understand. People are pigs, a lot of them, and why they have to damage things and write graffiti on everything, I don't know. But they do, and they had, and that's what his concern was. I said, obviously, I'm not going to do that. You won't even know I was here when I leave. So he was good with that, and no problems. So then he leaves, and I decide I'm going to take a shower. So I go out, and because I actually, on the side of the RV here, I do have the shower is actually built into the side of the RV. I could take one in a regular shower, or I could take one on the outside without having to set up my big hot water thing. Well, it's so dang hot, I just decided I'm going to use whatever temperature of the water coming out of the tank was, because it would be kind of refreshing. And besides that, I wasn't planning on using a whole lot of water anyways, because water is very valuable when you're boondocking and you don't know where your next water source is going to be. So yeah, so then I get everything set up there. I got my towel out there and whatnot, and put my soap out there, and got everything situated and hung up. And I forgot something in the RV. I don't know what. So I jump in real quick, I grab whatever. I think I grabbed the soap, and fooled around for a second, took a drink of water, go jumping out of the camper, and sure enough, there's a car parked right there. It was a family, a man, a wife, and their child. And I didn't see him come in. I'm in the middle of nowhere, miles back off the main road. Yeah, Grant might have heard. I might have heard them drive up if somebody came in, plus the fact I could look right out the window. But I'm about this level to my window. So they got to see the good parts if they were looking in, or bad parts of the bad memories that are going to stay with them for the rest of their life. But they got to see from here down if they looked through my window, but I didn't see them. So I bail off the RV, and there's their car sitting right there. I'm stark ass naked. I don't have a stitch of clothes on, and I think all I had on was my flip-flops to walk around the other side of the RV to kind of shower down a little bit. Fortunately, the good part was apparently they pulled in between my jumping in on the RV. fooling around for maybe a minute or so, but they had enough time to get out of their little minivan and head down to the little sign that reads about the cemetery and the little parking area that you have to park in. And so they were already down the hill. I kind of looked down, saw them, and it was kind of a relief, because I know I could have traumatized somebody by them seeing my naked ass out in the middle of nowhere. So I'm thankful that I don't have any therapy to have to pay for anybody seeing my nakedness. So that was kind of interesting, but at any rate, I go ahead and by that time I got busy. By the time they left and whatnot, I never got my shower, and it got late. I ended up getting everything set up in the cemetery, which I was doing some test stuff. So if you look, there's a daytime walk through the cemetery, and that's when Axbatch and I were seeing how far back in the cemetery I could get, how far back into a corner, where I started losing, and it was more of a test thing, but still it took about an hour and a half. I think Monty jumped in, and Zombie, I think you managed to make the daytime investigation too. So we kind of did that during the daytime. Then by the time I got dinner going and things set up to do the night thing, the day was pretty much shot. So I ended up doing the investigation, and it went till midnight, and it was way cool, because what is this? The remist? Am I saying that? There's a mist. Oh, there's a mist. Okay, there's a mist. There you go. Cool. Welcome to the stream. So, at any rate, we did that investigation. Then I headed into Cimarron. Spent a couple of nights in Cimarron, and I gave you a tour through the St. James and whatnot, but it's ridiculously high now. The starting rooms were like $250 a night and went up, and I wasn't going to pay that kind of money to spend one night in a haunted room. I'd been there so many times. It was beautiful. I'll give you that. They have done so much to that hotel. I mean, if you're ever in Cimarron, you definitely got to check it out. It's a beautiful hotel, but by the same token, a lot of things have changed, and it's progress. It's a beautiful building, but they changed a lot of stuff that has significant historical value. There's still bullet holes in the ceiling in the bar. I think there's 21 or 23 bullet holes where the cowboys would get drunk and ornery and start shooting their 6-shooters inside the bar. Those bullet holes are still there. But as far as the old card room, that's kind of upsetting to me, because when they added on to the hotel rooms upstairs, I guess they figured they needed a second bathroom for, overflow or somebody else that just, at any rate. And some of the rooms are very small, so I understand that. But they took the card room and took 3/4 of the card room and made that into a bathroom, and now the card room is about 1/4 of the size that it actually was. The reason that's important is because T.J. Wright and Henry Lambert got into a card game, and Henry Lambert fell short on a bet with T.J. Lambert, or T.J. Wright. And so he had the deed to the St. James Hotel. Well, he bet the St. James Hotel and called T.J. Wright's bet and T.J. Wright still won that hand. So T.J. Wright just won the what was in the kitty, plus he got the deed to the St. James Hotel. Well, that's a pretty good night. So he called it a night, gets up from the card table and starts to go down to room 18, which he had rented for the night, across the hall from the Earps Brothers room. And he somebody shot him in the back, and nobody to this day has ratted anybody out as to who did that. But oddly enough, by the time the sheriff got there to investigate, then Henry Lambert had the deed back in his hands, after losing it in the card game. So what happened there? Well, now T.J. Wright's room up at the St. James Hotel, room number 18, you cannot rent. They did at one time. They were renting it out, and they would allow guests in there. However, around every time they put somebody in there, the guest would leave early or leave in the middle of the night because of all the disturbances that were happening in TJ's room. And he was very violent. He was angry. He was pissed off. He'd won the hotel. Somebody shot him in the back, and he died in a pool of blood between the card room and his room. Now, I'd be a little pissed off too. So he didn't like the guests staying in his room, and he let them know every time they put guests in there. Finally, they just locked it up, and you cannot stay in T.J. Wright's room. And to this day, and as it's been for the last, how long we've been going? Hey, Axe Batch, how are you? I think we've been there. We've been going there since the early '90s, Jace? I don't know. Mid '80s, probably. Yeah, probably the mid '80s. That room's been locked ever since. I mean, the whole time that we'd ever been there. And since that time, I think it's gone through about 8 or 9 different owners and investment companies. In fact, it was just recently bought out again about a year ago from a corporation that owned the Glenwood Springs Hotel in Colorado. They sold it to whoever owns it now. So yeah, that property has switched hands quite a few times now. Beautiful building. I mean, it's the stuff. It is a beautiful place inside, but none of it is. The whole bar downstairs where the little boy used to do funny things to people, like he'd slide their drinks to the other end of the bar, and you'd see him cutting up behind the bar, and glasses would fall off the bar, and you'd see him roaming around on the CCTV cameras and stuff. They took out that old bar. It's not even there no more. What they did with it, I have no idea, but that was a bar outside, and not the whole regular bar. That's still there. Looked like Archie just went into the bathroom. I saw the door open up and close. He knows how to get his nose down in there and open it. Not ghost. About where my hand is sitting there. My little hand. There we go. Oh, he came out. There he is. He's looking for his buddy down there. So, we've been going there a long time, and a lot of things have changed. And I got to say, you know, some of it's good, some of it's bad, and that's just the way it is. So, anyways, enjoyed my time there. Then I made my way down to the old jailhouse. I think if you're on my Facebook, you saw me posting pictures there. By the way, guys, if you want to see and follow me when I'm not streaming, go to Facebook/Simply Ghost, and you'll find me. You'll find me there, and you're able to. What's that? I'll check that in a second, Batch. you'll be able to find me there and follow me more closely with where I'm at and what I'm doing, and you know, I generally try to post a few pictures every day. So then I ended up spending the night up in the Cimarron cemetery for a couple of nights. Very awesome, and I learned on this trip, I didn't know it, all these years I've been going up there and didn't know, but actually Davy Crockett is his grave is up there. I never knew that. All these years I've been going up there, I never knew that. So I went and tried to find it, and all that's left of the old wooden headstone, headstone, I guess, kind of oxymoron. The old wooden marker, how about that, has fallen over. And it seems to me somebody that historical, that's kind of dug their name into history again, somebody would pop for a marble or some type of headstone for this guy, but apparently not. Apparently not. Somebody just dinged me. What are you dinging me for? Jason. Oh. Okay. Let's see here. If I try to go to Discord, I can't, but I'd like to bring in Batch. I have to figure out how to do it while I'm streaming here without screwing things up, because we've been working on an idea. You guys want to follow me around the country and see what I'm doing? There's an app called Life 360, and if you haven't heard of it, it's kind of a fun little app. That's how Jason finds out where I'm at, when I'm at, what I'm doing at just about any given time, because it tracks me. And what I thought I would do is put up the dash cam when I'm just kind of traveling around with Life 360, Life, L-I-F-E 360. And we're gonna don't sign up yet, because, well, actually I have to figure out how to bring you into the group, and okay, yeah, Batch is kind of, watch the chat here, he's the guy. I guess you set us up a circle then. At any rate, as I'm traveling down the road, then if I turn on my camera, you guys, it'll actually track me as I'm moving, so you'll know exactly where I'm at, and you'll be able to see the scenery around me as I travel, which would be kind of fun. And I thought that would be kind of fun for you guys, and that way, if I'm just heading down the road and got some miles to travel, then I can sit and talk. Okay, so yeah, go to Life 360. You can do it from here. All right, let's see. Okay, let me share my screen. Let's see here. You mean we didn't make a separate screen to share us? Ending screens? No, we didn't. So I need to add another scene. Add scene. Well, I don't need to do that. I hear crunching in the background. All right, add new scene, desktop. I'm only working off of one monitor right now, so I have to set it up. differently. Okay, I've got to add the sound to that page, so give me just a second. Go back to desktop. There you go, now you can hear me, I'll bet. Da 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 da, I done good, huh? I done good. Cool, because this would actually be second monitor if it was set up. All right, so anyways, if you can scan that, it'll download the app, and then the next thing we have to do is what? Put in the code, which batch, if you look over here into the chat, copy, Control C, Control V. Delete. Alright, here's the code. Well, shit. Why do I have to sign into my own account to go to chat? That's ridiculous. Just want to post. There you go. Thank you, Jason. For some reason I have to sign in to post on my chat. That's weird. At any rate, there you go. So that's cool. Let's go back to my other screen here. All right. So by joining that, then as I'm moving around, it'll actually, if you got your notifications on, it'll blink and kind of give you a blink sound, and that'll tell you that I'm moving. I'm headed down the road somewhere. Could be down the road to Walmart. I don't, it's gonna track me every time I move or stop. So you may or may not want to turn your notifications on, but if you see me streaming and I'm showing the dash cam of the RV, then I probably only have my phone set up on the dash so that you can view where I'm headed. And if you see that, then you can turn on your Live 360 and actually see where I'm at exactly. And if you say, hey, that's a pretty cool place over there, is that a volcano? Then you'll know exactly where I'm at, and you can even look on Google Map and say, oh wow, there is a volcano there, or I wonder where that ruin is. That's pretty cool. So you can do that by joining Live 360 and then putting in the code that you see here at the bottom. So that's just another fun thing if you're interested in where the hell I'm at. Just something you can do. Let me delete that because if there's a lot. Yeah, because basically here's what's going to happen, guys. While you're on that app and in that app, then I can track you too, just so you know that. So everybody that's in the app will be able to track each other. Is that correct, Jason? Waiting for him to... It's like my little sister came into our circle, and now every time she leaves the house to go shopping or wherever, I get a notification. Okay, so you got to turn off your sharing. That's what you got to do. And if you do that, then I can't track you, but you can track me. So that's a good thing. And just, you know, if you want to, if you're interested at all, because as I get moving here, here's what's happening now. I'm in Santa Fe because, as I kind of digress from my story from the very beginning, is my search for electricity. As I left Cimarron, I drove into Las Vegas, Nevada, or Las Vegas, New Mexico. And it was a fairly good sized town, village they call them here. It was a pretty good sized village, but searching high and low and spending a couple of days there, I couldn't find the part for the generator anywhere. And it was the same song and dance I got in Trinidad, that it was going to be, they could order it, but it's going to be a week. And then there was absolutely no mechanics available in Las Vegas. And I thought, well, I'm going to hightail it down to Santa Fe. Santa Fe is the capital of New Mexico. It's got to be a pretty big town. And I'd never been here. Don't think I'll be back. Thank you very much. But yeah, call around, trying to get a technician, and have had no luck. And finally, Jason and I were talking. What was that? What is today? Tuesday? Yeah. So we were talking yesterday. He said, just order the part, Dad, and get it in. They've got Amazon lockers there. So he helped me get an Amazon locker here set up so that I could have it shipped, and it should be here tomorrow. The part that I believe it is. Now, I've taken my multimeter, and I'm not an electrician, but everything I've seen on YouTube, I've checked the AC side, the DC side, and it seems to be an AC, which is electrical, like 110, 115 volt. Seems to be an electrical problem dealing with the AC side, whereas DC is more 12 volt and stuff that runs off my solar batteries. So I've eliminated solar issues and a short in the DC side, and I was able to trace it and find that even though the generator was running, it was not producing power up to the converter, which converts that 110 volt power into 12 volt power, so that the whole RV becomes 12 volt. And I couldn't get power there. So that indicates that the little circuit breaker on the generator itself had finally said, screw it, I ain't working no more. And it completely quit. That's what I'm hoping, guys. And that's what all the multimeter testing, the electrical circuits, has told me, that circuit has failed. And so that's the part I got coming in. Now, that's another funny thing too. We found them starting from $18.95 per switch to $139 for the same switch. I'm getting the $18 one. There's no sense in paying that kind of money for the same switch. Yeah, there you go. The unsolved mysteries, and check that video out. Let's see here. I probably don't have audio on. Let's see here. Right here.
Laura brings a one night each year, which seems to bring out the wide-eyed child in all of us. Halloween.
Just a second here.
As darkness falls, our imaginations take flight. How Laura brings a one night each year.
Drag the
shadows
slider
cover the
fit
wide-eyed
puzzle.
child, the sky fills with ghosts and goblins. As darkness falls, our imaginations take flight.
Unable to verify.
St. Whispers Creek. Shadows some say is haunted. The sky fills with ghosts and goblins.
Well, I'll tell you what, there we
In
are.
Cimarron, New Mexico, Halloween is an everyday occurrence.
So this is the St.
When I bought the
James.
hotel, I didn't believe in
And
ghosts
I
at all.
probably don't
I
have
didn't
audio
believe
there.
now after the convincing evidence in the
Now,
last 5 years.
You guys tell me. You probably don't hear any audio,
I'm
right?
certain that there are ghosts here.
They are indeed real to me. They are not something that I've made up. They are.
Do you have
indeed in this
audio?
hotel.
Probably not, right?
The
Oh,
ghosts
we
are
hear
here.
it. Okay.
Are they haunting it? No, I think they're just living here.
There are places where the emotions have been very strong, and it's something like the energy gets captured or caught, and this hotel is certainly one of them.
Hey, SoCal, how are you?
In its heyday, the St. James Hotel offered good food, attractive dancing girls, and comfortable beds
Okay.
for such wild and woolly
Let
guests
me,
as Jesse James. Matt
Because I'm
Masterson,
not using that second
Danny
screen, I
Oakley,
don't know how to do all this.
Doc
And
Holliday,
it's just a.
and Wyatt
So if you
Earp.
want to check this video out,
But as the
Jason
glory
is.
days of the Old West faded,
Axbatch
the
just put the
hotel
link
fell
down
into
below, so
disrepair.
check it out there, guys. I want to move this up to where I can find it a little gooder.
In 1985, Ed Sitzberger and his wife Pat purchased the St. James.
All right.
They planned
Going
to
back
bring
to
the old hotel
live.
back to life.
And I probably need to close out
They
this
are indeed
window.
real to me. They are not something that I've made up. They are
The
indeed in
Sitzbergers
this
soon
hotel.
discovered that the St. James had a life of its
The
own.
ghosts are
A
here.
lot of shit open. There we go. There. I'm back. Had to close out some of them tabs. All right. Anyways, guys, check out that video. The St. James is such a cool place. But back to the thing. So tomorrow I should be able to pick up the part for the generator, which is a. You asked SoCal what part is it? It's a. It's just a simple circuit breaker, 30 amp circuit breaker that is built into the Onan generator, and it's nothing more than a little tiny, almost like a little tiny light switch. And so I've got it ordered. It'll be in tomorrow at a little gas station down the road, not too far from me here. Apparently they have Amazon lockers there, and I'll pick it up there, swap out the part, keep our fingers crossed that that resolves the issue between the generator and the converter. Now I kind of think, sorry about that, I'm just trying to get this straightened out a little gooder. All right. I kind of think though that, like right now, because I'm in an RV park, I'm plugged in, not even using the generator, but there's still some of the lights in here and some of the outlets that aren't working that typically should, which means I think there's got to be, and I've looked all over this thing, there's three major circuit fuse boxes. There's actually a little circuit breaker that runs the RV and all the AC power, or DC power and AC, actually it all comes together right here underneath the seat that I'm sitting on, and then there's a breaker box on the side. Then I've got a fuse box that's underneath the console of the RV, and then I've got another big breaker box under the hood of the RV outside. And I pulled every single one of those fuses in all those circuit boxes, coming all the way back to this one here, checking all the fuses and making sure nothing's blown or there aren't any switches that need to be turned on, and I cannot for the life of me find a breaker for these light switches up in the front of the one behind me works fine. The microwave works fine as long as I'm plugged into shore power. my dishwasher, the air fryer. It all works fine. I just don't have lights at night in the front of the RV, and the little fan that has a little motor on it doesn't work. So those are small things, and I'll deal with it later if I have to, because I don't believe that circuit breaker is going to change that. The only thing that circuit breaker is going to do is allow me to have power that the generator produces back to the converter, which then goes to the inverter to switch everything over to 12 volt. I know I know more about this than I want to, trust me. I don't want to know this shit, but I know it because I've had to try and diagnose what the problem is. I'd much rather pay somebody to do it, but hell, I can't even get the part, let alone somebody to look at it. So I've had to do whatever I have to do to try and get this resolved, because it's only going to get hotter from where I plan to go from here on. And I plan to do a lot of New Mexico, but then I'm going to kind of move into Texas, and then it's going to get really hot. Lower altitude, closer to the sea level, and hot. So I've got to have air conditioning. If nothing else works, I got to have air conditioning. So the solar has been keeping up with the lights and keeping my computers and phones, and I'll tell you, this little fan that I had on my list, and actually Brute bought me one, and I never received it before I left the Abbey. I don't know what happened to it or whatever. Hopefully you've got a refund for that. But this little fan has a 20,000 milliamp battery, and right now you can see by the lights it's fully charged. But I can charge this up, and it'll hold at full speed. It'll hold that charge for 12 hours, and over 24 hours if I got it on low speed. And it's made to just kind of hang up wherever I want to hang it. It oscillates. This thing has been my lifesaver. This is what's been keeping me cool and refreshed as best as it can. It's not cold air, but it's moving air, and it's a good little fan. It was like 39 bucks on Amazon. I highly recommend it if you are looking for a camping fan or something like that. It's a great fan. But that's been my lifesaver. But it's not gonna cut it once I get down into Texas and whatnot, because even right now I'm very comfortable. I'm under the shade. I've got the air conditioner over here going, and I got a fan blowing on me. I'm fat and sassy right now. But if I wasn't hooked up to shore power, I'd be sweating like a dog, and more than likely, if I wasn't at an RV site, I would be hard pressed to find, unless I sat on the side of a building or a tall building or something. Really, in Santa Fe, there aren't any big trees that offer a whole lot of shade, so you almost have to get to the side of a building to get any kind of a shade. Santa Fe, by the way, is not a favorite city of mine. Santa Fe is hot, flat, dry. I haven't done a whole lot of exploring here, just because another part is it's a big city. I don't like big cities. I don't like being in them. It's just not my style. I don't want to be here, and I wouldn't be staying if I didn't have to, but I got to get that part. When I get down to Albuquerque, I ain't hanging. I'll probably, and that's another thing too. Now we've got the big fire down in Ruidoso, which I was planning on basically cutting down, heading out towards Alamogordo, and down into Ruidoso. Well, Ruidoso just burst into flames yesterday, and it's burnt down the that the entire city of Ruidoso has been evacuated, and the town is burning up, literally. It is right now on fire. I saw some pictures earlier of some of the shops downtown that are just totally engulfed. There's not going to be much of left of Ruidoso when this is all said and done. The cause of that, I have no idea. But I was planning on going down, catching Alamogordo, swinging back up, maybe coming in through Ruidoso, and then shooting across Truth or Consequences, and then up to Ruidoso, and then over to Roswell. My plans are changing, so as of this video, I was going to go over and tell you guys kind of what my future plans are, but now I'm going to kind of have to remap things, because not only Ruidoso, but where was it? Oh, just outside of Blue Hole was another place that I could have just shot down towards well, on Route 66, and kind of hung out in that area and then come back down the other way down into Roswell, but it just caught on fire. So we've got 2 fires burning on 2 areas that I was planning on going to, my plan A and now my plan B. So my biggest issue, again, guys, is the smoke. If I start getting into a situation where I can smell the smoke and have to deal with the smoke, I'm going to get the hell out of there, because I can't. I just can't deal with that, along with the rest of my breathing issues. Which hasn't been, by the way, guys, just to give you an update there, my breathing issues haven't been nearly as bad since even at altitude. I think a lot of that was just the stress of dealing with what I was dealing with at the Abbey in the end, plus sucking in all that mold and mildew and stuff involved with the Abbey itself was not a healthy situation. And even in the mornings now, I'm not coughing and hacking and feeling like I'm giving up a lung every morning in a coughing fit since I've left. So that's a good thing, you know. And definitely the stress level has dropped tremendously. Last year, went to New Mexico during the heat wave. It was 118 degrees, yeah. And as I get lower, when I start heading south of Albuquerque, it's going to get way hot. Then we're talking the temperatures that you just said, SoCal. Trim on the roof of your truck started peeling off. I don't doubt it. And you know, again, I wouldn't be this far along. I planned on hanging. I've got so many places mapped out. Let's see here if I can do this real quick. Hang on just a second. I'm going to try to bring up my map. Man, I love it when I got 2 screens, but I've only got the one to work with right now. So, all right, let me show you what I've got here, guys. Let me switch the windows here. I'll show you what I've got mapped out. Okay, can you guys see that? I don't know if you can see that. Can you guys see my map? Kind of split this off here. Okay, hang on just a second. Okay, can you guys see that okay? I'm going to open it up all the way here. move this over here, and then maybe leave that chat open a little bit. I can see. Oops. Okay, can you guys see that? How about now? Yes, okay. Alright, so you can see I've got places marked all over my map of places I want to go. Everything from historic ruins to places to ghost hunt to just cool photo opportunities and mining towns and places to camp and waterfalls and blah blah blah. So I've got all this mapped out, even old airports where I was going to take you guys and hopefully still can take you guys to some old airports that are shut down but still have aircraft sitting around rotting. All kinds of great places to go. But right now, I'm right in this area here. Come on. Come on. Come on, Cletus. Come on, Cletus. Get over here. There we go. So let's see here. That was an old Pueblo ruin, and I didn't go there. It's actually within 6 miles of me right now. I can go over there if I want to. This is where I'm camped out, parked up. It's right. Come on, go bigger, or go home. So right now I'm parked right there. No, I'm sorry, right here. So if I want to, I can go down here to the massage parlor if you guys are willing to pop. I sure could use me a massage. Or this El de las Cordina or whatever. So if I click on that, hey Sean, how are you? How are you? I can go to the site here, and to me it seems kind of like a Renaissance type festival. But I don't know. But that's it there, and that's just like maybe a mile from me right now, a mile, 2 miles. And had I known it was going to be a cooler day today, I might have gone up there. But, yeah, well, I got stuff to do here. Because just around the corner from here now, then right up here, and here I hope I will take you guys there tomorrow before I leave Santa Fe. And we'll check out some, hey, Sean, how are you, buddy? How are you? Sean. So this is pretty cool because I will take you over and we'll check out some petroglyphs. And again, those are about less than 5 miles from me right now. Let's see here. Photos. Visit, camping, hiking, mountain biking, rock hounding. Show me some pictures. Here, let's do it this way. Copy. There we go. So yeah, this is just around the corner from me, more or less. Check this out. I don't know how hot it is. I'm kind of, like I say, I'm sitting in air conditioning and under the shade, so, but you can see very cool stuff there. Here, again, what the hell is wrong with people? Why they do this? I hope they catch them and prosecute them to the max. That's stupid. That's stupid. Anyways, but this is pretty cool. A lot of information there. Let's see here. Anybody know how to read petroglyphs? Very cool. So that would be kind of fun. I could take you guys there tomorrow or whenever I get ready to leave the town and get that part set in and set up. Back here and switch back to my desktop, to my live screen. There we go. Hi guys. Yeah, so that'll be a lot of fun, and that's just around the corner from me again. I mean, I'm not far from there at all. Let's see here. But I should have stayed at my map here for a second. Let's see here. Let's see how. Let me go back to that desktop again. And we want to go to the desktop, which is here. Done. Okay. Alright, so while we're here, let me give that a full page. Alright, so right now, let me find it here on my little map. So we're over here more. White Sands, Alamogordo, White Sands, Holman, Alamogordo. So yeah, another place I want to take you is over into Lincoln County to the let's see. Yeah, the old place where Billy the Kid used to hang out, Fort Sumner, and where he was killed, and also his gravesite. Take you there. But I'm looking for the area that's on fire right now, which is down here. There we go, Ruidoso. So this whole area right here is on fire right now, and you can see there was quite a few places I wanted to take you in that area, and now I'm going to have to kind of bypass it. And if I take this road here, what I was planning on doing was come down here and take you guys all the way down to Las Cruces, then come back up through this way and do the Alamogordo over to well, this is another great place that I want to show you, and then drop back down and take my time and hang out in Ruidoso here, and then head over to Roswell. It's not going to happen, guys, not with it being on fire like that. So then from Roswell, then I could head on up to Vaughn and Encino, and then backtrack over to Fort Sumner and spend some time there, and then up to Santa Rosa, which is on fire now as of today. there's a small town there in between that a fire broke out today. From there, then I've got two great sites I want to show you. One of them being Cisco, which I've been there before, and hopefully I'll be able to spend the night there. Creepy stuff happened there. It was actually happening when I was there the last time and didn't realize it. There was a huge news story after I got back and started researching it that some pretty crazy stuff had happened. And then, of course, I got to stop in Tucumcari and get my barbecue there at the Watson Farm and Feed. Definitely worth the drive. I would go 300 miles out of my way to stop and eat there for sure. Let's check them out real quick. It's just a great place, and the food is just crazy good. best smoked brisket I've ever had in my life. I just really like those guys too. So anyways, definitely going to be stopping there. So let me close these out and minimize that. Go back to my page here. Go to the live screen. There. Well, that was new for me, guys. Actually, I haven't working off of one screen. I'm not doing too bad. Treats us, you betcha. Great barbecue. Great barbecue. So that's kind of where I'm at now, guys. Things are changing daily. Because I had to get the generator issue solved, and I still haven't got it solved. I'm hoping that the park tomorrow will take care of the most of it. If I could just get the generator back, I still got solar, but if I can get the generator back, that means I have electricity for the microwave, some of the other things that I don't necessarily need, but I definitely need air conditioning, and hopefully that'll get the air conditioning going. If not, then I'm going to have to figure out a plan B and go from there. But then on top of that, now my plans are changing due to the fires. You know, I'm going to have to refigure which direction I want to go. Where can I go and avoid smoke and just and believe it's not about me, guys. I feel terrible for the people down in Ruidoso, and actually I know several of my friends that have come from there and grew up in Ruidoso, and I'm heartbroken for their families and whatnot, because this, unlike a lot of fires that you see on TV and whatnot, you know, they consume acres and acres and acres of land, and that's bad enough. I mean, the wildlife really take a beating when that happens, more than we ever hear about. But this is burning down people's homes and people's businesses, and an entire town is in flames right now. I mean, it's the town, the village, is on fire, and that's heartbreaking. It's no less than, you know, tornadoes that had ripped through Iowa and Nebraska and Kansas over the past couple of weeks. Last month was a horrible tornado season for a lot of those states, and I feel bad for these, because that's people's homes and lives and stuff that have been totally destroyed through natural disasters. But on a more personal level, it does change the things that I'm doing and the way that I have to travel, and you know what and I may be best just to, I don't know. I've thought about cutting it back the other direction and heading more towards the west and heading into Arizona, and then cutting up into Utah and Nevada, but that's not really where I want to go right now. Hey there, Wante, how are you? How are you? So we'll have to wait and see, because I don't really know. Good evening. I guess it is for you. Yeah, it's 3:30 here, so it's got to be close to 6 there, right? I mean, 5:30. 5:30ish. Yeah, hope you're doing well, my friend. Still waiting on that generator part here. Getting closer. And one other thing I'll mention to you guys is the Starlink is awesome. I love Starlink. The places like the Dawson Cemetery, I had 0 bars. I had no phone service whatsoever at that spot. But by firing up Starlink, I had speeds of almost 300 megabytes per second, which was amazing. And another thing, Monty, too, is I finally got the cable made up, and now I've got a stretch. I think I said 100 yards. What I meant to say was 100 feet additional cable now, plus the repeater that you left behind. Now I can attach it. I haven't tried to see if it actually works. I don't know why it wouldn't, right? But we'll do a test next time I'm somewhere where I pull that out and maybe take it inside an abandoned building with me and see if the service increases with that mesh system hanging out inside the building with me. So that'll be fun. If it works, man, that's more groundbreaking stuff. I don't know anybody's doing that kind of stuff, but it's pretty incredible that we can. So I'm gonna try that out the next time I'm out and about, because like I say, I've got 100 foot of cable and I still got the repeater, so we'll give that a shot. Other than that, I'm telling you what, guys, you have no idea. I am jam-packed in this RV. I am packed tight between what I kept from the monastery, and it seems like everything I'm looking for is in the bottom of the hardest container to get out of the top up there as possible. And I might only need it one time and I have to dig for it, but fortunately everything's marked, and I did real good about kind of organizing stuff. But it's a pain in the ass, I'll tell you. Just doing anything in an RV is different lifestyle than you guys are used to at home. You see the little dishwasher behind me. You guys just got to rinse your plates or your glasses and then stack them into the dishwasher. And then when you're ready, go ahead and put in some dishwashing soap and then push your little start button. Let it go through the cycle, and the next morning while you're waiting for the coffee to brew or whatever, that's kind of the way I do it, then put your dishes away, right? And I don't do dishes that often. I eat a lot of stuff off the paper plates and basically what I go through a lot of is silverware, and I have to do that. But and still, I don't mind hand washing it by any means. I became very fat and complacent there at the Abbey, having full-time electricity, so I went ahead and got it. Don't need it. For years until I got to the Abbey, I didn't have a dishwasher. In fact, for 30 years I didn't have a dishwasher. I had even in my big house, we had a dishwasher. I never used it. It was just easier and quicker, and I didn't mind doing it by hand. I liked washing dishes. I don't know, maybe weird, but I went ahead and got one just for the silverware. So I stacked the silverware in there. When it gets full, if I got a cup or a plate or something, I'll throw it in there to complete the load. But usually about once a week I do my dishes. But here's the deal. For me to use that dishwasher, I've got to go in and get a portable pump. And because I don't want to use up the water in the RV, I have a container. Actually, what it was the old the jugs that the kitty litter comes in. They're about a 2.5 gallon little jug. Well, when I empty them, then I rinse them out because there's nothing nasty in there. It's just kitty litter. not used. And so I rinse it out and fill them up with water. And I always keep a couple of gallons of them handy for just wastewater, right? So I take that and a little sump pump. Then I got to fill up the dishwasher. It generally takes about half of one of those jugs, so about a gallon and a half of water to fill my dishwasher. So after I get done with that, then I got to run the hose, and you see one of those little jugs right there behind me, about where my thumb is, laying flat in the sink. Well, I've cut a hole in the top, and that way it drains the dishwater into that jug, so it doesn't fill my storage tank or my gray water tank. And then I could just, because it's just dirty dishwasher, then I could just take it and dump it out when I'm done doing my dishes. And that way I don't use any of the water that I have in my storage tanks, and I don't fill up my gray tank with gray water that's only dishwasher water. So that way I can dump it and do my dishes once a week. But it's a process to do your dishes, I'm telling you what. So, but that's just one of the things that I have to do if I want to do it. There's some other things here. It's like taking my shower, and I'll go through that when I get to. That was the one thing too. I was really hoping that I get to use my shower. I haven't used it once since I've been on the road, because I haven't been near a water source that I can pull water from to take a shower using my new system. It's not to say I haven't taken showers. I had one yesterday, but using my shower while I'm out in the wilderness, I have to have a water source. It could be a pond, stream, lake, river, it doesn't matter. But there is no water down here in this part of New Mexico. You go down to the Santa Fe River, it is dust. There is no water down there. It would take a good rain to build up enough moisture to rise above the sand that's in the Santa Fe River down there. There is no water. So what I have to do then, for some of the other things around here, again, my lighting is solar. I've got 400 watts up above, and I've got a 100-watt portable thing that I drag around and catch extra sun to keep the RV plugged up or plugged in, and the RV battery itself, not just my auxiliary batteries. Or I can run my prospecting equipment with the portable solar power. I can run, charge up my phones, my generators, or phone, my fan, and other things using that little solar panel, so I don't use up. One thing that Starlink does do, it works fine off of solar, and I get about 4 hours before it sucks all the battery life that I have on a full charge from my auxiliary batteries, and they'll charge up fine the next day. It's no big deal as long as I've got a good, sunny day. But I gotta conserve my electricity. So a lot of times at night, who needs light on your laptop anyways, right? I mean, I'm watching the screen that's lit. I can see the keyboard that's lit. So I sit in the dark a lot at night, which is fine with me. Doesn't bother me a bit. So you do things a little bit different than you would if you were in a place that has convenient lighting and electricity. And another thing too I'm very thankful for is my refrigerator. Through all of this, I'm very thankful for the fact that my refrigerator is electric and gas. So when I don't have an electric source, it automatically switches from electric over to propane. And so as long as I've got plenty of propane, I filled my tank at 3 days ago before I left Las Vegas, New Mexico. Got it all topped off. So I've got plenty of propane to run the refrigerator while I'm boondocking. And to give you an idea how long that lasts, propane at the Abbey, 4 years at the Abbey, I only had to fill my propane tank 3 times, because basically all it does is run my stove, the burners on my stove. And when I was at the Abbey, hell, it was only running the fridge when I took the RV off of electricity there and went somewhere, which was very rare. So I'll go through a little bit more propane now, but I'm thankful for the fact that the generator, it hasn't been an issue to my fridge. I've still got power. Solar will keep the light power that it does require to run the lighting and the switches, and propane will keep the cold going, and I don't have to worry about the refrigerator, getting warm or anything like that. So that's a blessing. But again, it's something that most people don't have to worry about is, well, I've had a power failure, and how do I keep things cold and stuff? It's kind of done for me. So, what's some other things? I wrote some things down here. All right, some of the things I do when I'm traveling is I stay off the major highways. If I'm on I-25, I-70, I, or any major interstate, and I'm traveling, same thing when I'm on Route 66, it parallels US 40. I stay off of US 40, and I take the frontage roads, and constantly you'll see me on the highway as you're zipping by. I'm in the RV just chugging along, checking everything out, and enjoying myself, driving real slow, and taking it easy, because A, I'm not in any hurry to get anywhere. B, if I see something I want to stop and take a picture of, I stop and take a picture of it. Or if I want to check it out a little bit more, I see a dirt road that leads up to something I can see down the road a mile. I'll cut down that dirt road and head down there for a mile and see what I'm going to miss, and maybe even pull in for a little bit. Whereas when you're on the highway, and I made that mistake leaving Pueblo, there's a picture that if you're on my Facebook, you can see of a little ice cream diner type thing in the middle of nowhere. Well, I actually was on the interstate cruising along. When I say cruising, the speed limit's 75, and I was probably doing 60. But I saw that, and I said, well, I want to go get a picture of that. Well, so I said, how far can it be to the next exit? 5 miles. So I had to drive 5 miles up to the next exit, then cut back 5 miles to where I saw that little restaurant. So I basically now have gone the 5 miles up out of my way, the 5 miles back out of my way, and then I'm going to head back. So I've done 15 miles. Had I been on the frontage road, I could have just pulled off and saved those 15 miles. Well, you say that's not that big a deal. Here's the deal, guys. I'm driving a vehicle that gets 6 miles to the gallon. 6 miles to the gallon. I've been fortunate enough that I've not paid more than $3 a gallon for gas. I've been finding it anywhere from about $2.85 to $2.99 for a gallon of gas. So when you take that 15 miles and you've gone 15 miles out of your way, that just cost me about $7 to backtrack that 15 miles to go get that photograph. So that's another thing you got to think about too. Gas is not cheap out here, guys. It's expensive to run, and that's why I try not to do big clips at a time. I mean, back during COVID when gas was, hell, I in Elk City and down in Oklahoma and whatnot, I rarely paid over $1 a gallon. I've got pictures of me filling up for 86.9 in Elk City. Those days are gone. $3 is about what I'm going to pay. And so, for instance, I get down to 3/4, where I'm down to about 3/4 of a tank. I tell myself it's time to get gas because I don't want to deal with the sticker shock when I get down to like a half a tank. Because when I'm at 3/4 of a tank in this RV, I'm looking at a $75 to $80 bill for a quarter tank of gas. If I get down to a half a tank, I'm looking at $150 to $160 to fill that tank back up. Trust me, that isn't very much mileage-wise. That's going to get me, roughly I guess I've been averaging, I've gone 380 miles total, I think, and I've spent almost $280 in gas. Yeah, just in the last couple of weeks. So you don't drive big chunks. You don't, big long lengths at a time. Hey there, Space, how are you? How are you? I don't know, cheap viewers on, I guess you're a spammer, but I don't care. Howdy, hope you make a buck. At any rate, mileage is something you don't put on a lot of, so that's why you see me traveling for a little bit and then stopping. And in Route 66 was great because there was a town every 15 to 18 to 20 miles. Thank you, Auntie. And I would stop off in these little towns, and inevitably I would go in to just take photographs and run into somebody and start talking with them, and they'll tell me about something just outside of town or something in town that I need to go see, and I would go check it out. And next thing I know, I've spent 3 days in that little town that all I was going to do was stop off and get a photograph in. And I can't tell you how many times stuff like that happens. And that's how I am too when I'm traveling down the frontage road. I've got no choice but to cruise into these little towns as the interstate jumps off to them. So why not? I hang out in every little town that I come to. I always take some pictures, stop off, maybe, buy a cold drink. Not even necessarily that I need it, but to get out and mingle a little bit and find out what's around. People love to talk about what their community has. What do you do for fun? Where's your swimming hole? What's something cool down here? You got any abandoned locations? What's unique about this community? Anything cool that you can tell me about? Just ask people questions, and most people are willing to talk to you and tell you stuff. You'll find the ones, there ain't shit in this town, you just need to go. Which, that happens too, but not very often. Definitely not very often. And I found that the attitude of country people versus city folk, they're a lot more laid back. A lot more, really. I think it's a matter of stress level. And people are just more laid back the further you get out of the bigger cities, which is another reason I like to hang out in them. It's people are just different. So I do travel the frontage roads a lot. I drive very slow. Not that my RV is slow. If I give it the gas, she'll giddy up and go. But I also watch that gas tank go boom and run to empty about as fast as it can too. So I keep my foot. Actually, I put it on cruise control, and on the frontage roads, I might be doing 40. I might be doing 35. I'm going very slow. And if I get to a situation where I'm on a more narrow road or a windy road or something, and I see somebody get behind me, I get it. You're not on my time. And I'll pull over and let you guys pass and go around me. And I don't mind doing that because I'm not in any hurry. But I know a lot of y'all are. And so I appreciate that, and I do my best to yield for your sake. Freaking stops, I take a lot. I take a lot of pictures. Everything's interesting to me. And I see a picture in about anything. And I like unique things. So I'm not afraid to just, there's no reason. I'm not in any hurry. Again, if I, pull off and all of a sudden I'm taking a picture of an exterior of a building, and then all of a sudden I look inside and there's all this cool stuff on the inside that I want to share, then I move into the inside, and before you know it, I might spend an hour or two at an abandoned farmhouse just shooting pictures around the area or whatever, because I'm not in any hurry. And as you guys all know, I love boondocking. I like being by myself. That's another thing that a lot of people couldn't handle, I don't believe. I don't mind being in the middle of nowhere by myself. Doesn't scare me. I don't freak out. Oh my God, I lose cell service. And even before I had the satellite, I didn't mind being out without a cell phone. I'm not one of those that live on my cell phone. I don't look at it. In fact, it's with me all the time here. But like at the Abbey, if I was in the Abbey all night long and I forgot my phone in the RV, I didn't freak out and worry about it. Whoever called me or whatever that is, it's just gonna wait. I'm not in any hurry to find out, or call you back, and you find out that I'm very bad about calling people back a lot of times, and I'm sorry for that. But I don't check my phone. And people say, well, I left a message. I don't have any blinky lights that tell me, I've had 3 messages or whatever. And I'm not smart enough with the phone to sit there and figure out messages and phone calls, let alone get back to a lot of them. I've gotten better, but I'm not that guy. I don't live by my phone. My life is not dictated by my phone. A good example, the worst thing I got hooked on, and a lot of you guys, you original Facebookers can probably relate, was Farmville. Oh my God. I started playing Farmville, and then I started setting up my crops. Well, let's see, I've got to go to town at noon, but if I get back at 3 o'clock, then I can harvest my corn and plant some cucumbers and whatever, and I was setting my life by planting crops according to Farmville. How many of you guys got hooked into that crap? And finally I said, no more. I give up on Farmville. And I had a huge farm. People were so amazed because I had nothing but time. And so my farm grew from this little thing to a massive farm that people had been farming for a couple of years didn't have what I had in 2 months because they just played that game hard. And I said, this is ridiculous. Yeah. Yep. Yep. So I don't play Farmville, and I had to give that one up. It took over my life. So excuse me, I've got to go now. I've got to get my farms I got to get my crops harvested before they wilt. I put a lot of effort into that, and these are some high dollar corn right now, and geez, I'm thinking about going to sunflowers. I haven't quite made up my mind because cauliflower is about the same price. Ridiculous. Yeah. So, but yep. Some of the cons of traveling is big cities. I hate big cities. I don't like going to big cities. I don't like passing through big cities. I like when I was on Route 66 going through Oklahoma City and Tulsa and Albuquerque, all these cities. I stayed on the interstate and zipped through. That's the only time I stayed on the interstate and zipped through to get to the other side so that I could jump off once I got back into the country part of wherever I was at. And so that's a con. I don't like the big cities. And another thing that you guys that I deal with that you don't have to is finding water. And I'm not talking about water, lake, streams, rivers, and creeks. I'm talking about just filling up my RV tanks. And sometimes, you know, you start getting down to about a quarter of your reserves, which I think I hold 45 gallons of water when it's completely full. I'm very good with water. I'm very, very conservative. And I could probably go 2.5, 3 weeks on that 45 gallons of water. I bring water on to drink because I don't drink anything out of the tank, but that's more for my dishes and my toilet and cat water and stuff like that. And then again, I don't use it to shower with or waste it that way. And I'm very resourceful about conserving the water when I do my dishes by hand. I don't use that dishwasher, but very rarely. while I'm traveling, I'll because again, basically all I got is silverware. I'll make a dish pan full of hot water. I'll do the thing and I'll rinse them. So I probably don't use a gallon of a gallon of water to do my dishes with. Very rarely. So very conservative with my water. But it is hard to find sometimes, like this past week coming down from couldn't find anybody in I guess I did. I guess I did when I got to Las Vegas, because I left Colorado and I was a little bit low, but I wasn't too concerned about it because I find water just about anywhere you want to go, and I wasn't having any luck finding any places that were willing to give me any water. But let me give you a little tip. A great place for me that has always come through, and in fact I spent one of the nights in Las Vegas there. What was it here? Yeah, the first night here in Santa Fe. A great place for me to find water when I'm on the road, and especially in the Midwest, Western, not so much in the East because it's not that big a thing, but Southern states. Rodeo fairgrounds. Rodeo grounds, every little county has a fairgrounds. And I just Google them up, and sure enough, you can go to a fairground. Generally, all of them have water. All of them have places that you can camp at with an RV. Because when they have a rodeo, all those cowboys come in and they're pulling horse trailers and campers. They hook up for the night for the rodeo. They need water and they need electric. So a lot of them even have sewer hookups, and you can hook up for, some places are free. Some of them are like $10 to have full hookup. The one here in town I stayed at the first night when I got into town, it cost me $25. but I filled up my water tank, dumped my gray tanks and my black tanks, and I had full electricity for the entire time that I was there for 25 bucks. Some of the little towns, and especially throughout Nebraska, those guys are RV friendly states because they have little RV places in every city park throughout Nebraska, and some in Kansas, and a few there in Oklahoma I found, where you pull up and it's free. You get a 5-day stay in a city park, and they'll give you full hookup, or they'll give you electricity, and they have a central dump station and a central place where you get water, so you can dump and fill your water tanks before you leave or when you arrive, and then they'll give you free hookups and a level pad to stay on for 5 days. Get done there, you drive up 30 miles to the next town, same thing, it's free. It's free, it doesn't cost you a nickel. You can considerably live in those states for free in an RV because you're not going to have to pay any electricity or water or sewage or anything like that. It's all free. Those states are pretty cool, and some of them they'll charge you, like there was a place in Kansas where you had free. Well, they had a central dump station that was free. You could dump your waste, gray and black water tanks, fill up your water for free. But if you want to use electricity, it actually worked on a coin machine. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but for like $5 of quarters, you got 24 hours of electricity. And you just feed this little coin slot. And I think that was in Lafarge, Kansas. And you just feed that little thing $5 worth of coins. And the thing is during the winter time, I had electricity, so I didn't have to worry about the cold because I got electric heaters. So I just ran it off their little coin slot. Stayed there a week. It cost me maybe $20 for electricity for that week. Great, great. So you get creative, you start learning things, and your lifestyle changes quite a bit. But once you get used to it, it's a fun life. I enjoy it. The only other thing would be, if you're the type that need to be around people, or you don't like to be by yourself, you're going to have a rough time, because there's a lot of miles for me in particular. Well, I got nobody to talk to but this cat, and this cat finally gets tired of it, jumps up in the top, and I'll never see it till I stop. And that's only because it's thinking it's time to get fed or something. So what's in it for me, Archie says. Yeah, so there's nothing to do but just travel and enjoy, and I do. I'm not the kind that I don't get lonely. There's too much to do to get lonely. I am alone, absolutely. I am alone probably 95% of my time, but I don't get lonely. I don't get lonely. Times that I guess I might get an inkling of that feeling is when I'm seeing something so totally awesome and so incredibly amazing, and there's a lot of that. I get that feeling of, and I don't even know how you would describe it. It's more of sadness that I don't have somebody with me to share that moment with, because it's so spectacular and what I'm seeing is so amazing. And yeah, you guys get to see it with the photographs or through videos and stuff like that, but to be there and to see everything, and to have the knowledge of what it took to get there. And in the case of like a frontier homestead or something like that, to have the total understanding of the mountains that they would have had to climb, and the valleys they would have had to gone through, and the hardships that they might have had to gone through just to get home and back in the middle of nowhere, is amazing to me. And not to be able to share that with somebody. And I'm talking old frontier stuff, because that's what we've been dealing with. And when I get back on Route 66, we're going to do some modern roadside oddities and a lot of other things, and more stuff like that. But I'm talking about everything, you know, just a spectacular, off the wall, off the beaten path, out of the norm stuff that I get to do and see and experience. That's where I guess I feel that sadness that I don't have somebody to share it with. But hey, I got you guys, you know, I got you guys. I can share it with you, and you guys can enjoy it for whatever it's worth. And hopefully I get to share it in an entertaining way that you guys get to enjoy it. But at any rate, I've been rattling for a while now, almost 2 hours. I wasn't planning on doing that, but I'm testing out the Starlink, and it's working great. Working great. Yeah, so anybody got any questions? Any of you wondering anything, or you know, suggestions? Anybody? Nothing? Nobody has anything? Okay, well, so I'm thinking I'll have to get on the next day or so and try to share with you guys where I'm going next, because at this point I haven't given that a whole lot of thought. I'm really thinking 70% of my generator issue will be resolved tomorrow. But I'm not an electrician, and I'm hoping that that's going to put power back to my converter. If it's not, see, and this converter, that was a strange thing too. I just replaced this converter. It's not a month and a half old. It got replaced. I replaced the solenoid down in the I guess it would be the DC portion from the solar panel about a month and a half or 2 months ago. So those are new parts, but did they fail? You know, could it be the converter itself? I don't think so, because in doing my circuit testing, I could see that I didn't have power coming from the generator to that point, let alone after that point. So that's why I suspect it's that switch. So I'm very confident, but not 100% sure that that's going to resolve much of the generator's problem. What's concerning after that would be, why doesn't that outlet work? Why doesn't that light switch work? That light switch and that light switch and that outlet and that fan. Why do those items not work? And that, because they're all out in a cluster, makes me believe it's got to be a breaker that somewhere I've missed, and I don't know where, but it's just something that's got to be reset. I'm confident there. So I'm not too worried about that. As long as I get power tomorrow, I will be a happy camper. Literally a happy camper. So nothing, nobody you get sharing with, just keep going. Yeah, well, you know, and I've got lots of stories. My life my life has always been pretty nomadic since I was young. You know, I didn't have any issues strapping on a backpack and heading into the wilderness for 10 or 12 miles to a mountaintop, mountain lake, whatever. And you were welcome to come along, but if you weren't there when I got ready to leave, I was going without you. I can remember when I got my Toyota, the 76 Toyota Corolla, and I got it, and I think I was paying somewhere 38 cents a gallon for gas then, something like that. At any rate, I was only making like $1.95 an hour, but at the end of the week, I got paid on Fridays. At the end of the week, I'd let's say that week I made $130 take home. Then I'd go as far as $65 would take me, knowing that that was half the money that I had. And then I had that amount to get back home on. And I would drive as far as I could. Well, now in a little Toyota Corolla and gas at less than 40 cents a gallon, in a car that got about 30 something miles a gallon, that was a lot of miles I could put on that car on a weekend. And I did. I would travel as far as it would take me, and sometimes I'd head up to Montana, sometimes I'd head into Utah, sometimes I'd shoot down here to New Mexico, but I was moving and I was traveling. Throw a sleeping bag in the back of the car and sleep under the stars. I didn't care. I end up in Moab and then sleeping in the desert watching the satellites next to the Colorado River. That's high living for me. That's something I've always enjoyed doing and always have actually done. And now I'm back at it. I'm doing that. I have that lifestyle available to me. The sad part to me is some of the things I really wanted to do, I put it off too long and I can't do it no more. Some of the stuff I got a little bit of the taste of, but some of the stuff I did 4 years ago I can't do anymore. My days of snorkeling, let alone scuba diving, is over. I can't snorkel because I can't hold my breath that long anymore. That's sad because I enjoy that stuff. But you know what? The game's not over. The game's not over by any means. I still got things I can do. So rather than focus on the things that I can no longer do, I do the things I can do, albeit a lot slower, but I'm still able to do it. And so, yeah, there's my prize. And I'm going to keep on doing it as long as I can. And it seems like time is, I'm very thankful for. I could be sitting here crying, life's dealt me a dirty hand here. But I also look back and I see so many people that never get the opportunity to live to my age, or have these horrible, horrific diseases that take them out, and A, very quickly, and B, in such harsh, painful ways. And I'm very thankful for what I have, even though I don't like it, and even though there's nothing I can do about it. I'm still thankful that I'm here and I can do this, and I, not only that, I can still inspire other people. There's other people that and that's kind of a big thing for me is you guys have told me many times how somehow I become an inspiration, and vicariously you live through my adventures and what. And I can't tell you what that means to me personally. It's sometimes that little bit of incentive that I needed to get over that hump on days that I don't even want to get out of bed. And I had a lot of those at the Abbey. I just felt like at the Abbey I'd reached my end, and I was at the plateau. This is as good as it's ever going to get, and it ain't going to get any better. I was wrong, and I'm glad. The best thing I ever did was get the hell out of the Abbey, and get back on the road, be back out here. Is it, there's a lot of risk being in the health that I am. And that's where that app comes in real handy. Hopefully you guys will find me when I croak over before Archie finishes the last bite of eating up my body. Which is diminishing too, guys. I'm actually losing quite a bit of weight while I'm on the road because I just don't feel like eating more than anything. It's hot and you don't want to heat up the RV cooking something, and I'm not a fast food type guy. I've always cooked my own meals and stuff, and so it's just, and I'm not, because I try to really watch what I'm eating. I don't eat a lot of junk, believe it or not. Yeah, but it's kind of lost that train that I was on, but it's a lifestyle that I enjoy, and I love the adventure, and I'm still able to do it, so I'm going to do it as long as I can. And that was another good thing from the Abbey too. Abbey was not a bad thing by any means. It ended on a very sour note, and very unfairly. But two, I kind of instigated it, only because of the fact that for years and years and years I was taking care of things there and taking no credit for it, because that's not why I was doing it. I did it for the love of the building and the love of trying to save the place. So my motives were different. But as my health started to get worse and worse, there's things I couldn't do anymore. And all of a sudden, the things that I couldn't do anymore were becoming very, very apparent, in the sense of like the flooding. First off, those buckets were something I did 6 years ago to try and alleviate some of the water damage that was taking place then, when it wasn't near as bad as it is now. But when it became very apparent that Houston, we have a problem, was when I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't empty the buckets. And I was just so infuriated that I'd gone to all that effort, and for years and years and years kept the water out of the building on a very simple method that just required some sweat equity. But I didn't have the ability to do it anymore. And when I went to management, it was like, who the hell are you? Piss on you. And then the flooding started to happen, and the smells got so bad, and the mold got so bad, and still nothing was getting done. And I was putting handwritten work orders in, and the stuff was still not getting done. That's when I blasted out the video, because I couldn't do it anymore. What as you saw in the video, I ended up doing it one last time, and then what did they do? Blocked the doors, screwed them shut, so I could no longer even get to the the buckets to dump, and not only that, neither could they. And the flooding just went all the way down to the first floor, and it got worse and worse and worse. And I'm sure, because I've been watching the weather there, and there's been some hell of a storms over the last couple of weeks. That building has to smell to high heaven, and the damage must be intense. And it's only going to triple and double, quadruple every time we get another storm. Not my deal anymore. I've alerted the public, the community, management definitely is aware, and it's up to you guys. But it's not my problem anymore, and that, you know, that's the sad part to me, because I did put a lot of effort, and it didn't in the end. I have to take it. I will check with you, follow you on the 360 app. Have a great night. All right. See you, Wanty. Be safe out there, my friend. Be safe out there. All right, Magmorta. It's not your circus, and it's not your monkeys. That's right. Exactly, Magmorta. How are you? How are you? And by the way, you need to whisper to me. I've got all these prizes here, guys. These are souvenirs for you guys. But you gotta claim them, gotta send me your addresses and stuff. I've got the, of course it's backwards. No, I guess you can see it. There we go. That's from the Air Museum up in Pueblo. It's a little sticker. I've got another little sticker from the Air Museum in Pueblo. I've got Lucky the Horse from the Train Museum. Or from the Pioneer Museum. Another picture of Lucky. You'll have to watch that video if you're wondering about Lucky. And then the other day when I was in the Santa Fe Museum in Springer, I got those magnets. One of these are yours, Magmorta. You got to send me your address. Or, you know what? I don't care which one you take. You could take one of the magnets from the Santa Fe Museum, and Wanty will get one or the other. And then, if you'd rather, you can have Lucky the Horse from the museum, and these are little buttons. Or you can choose a sticker from the Air Museum that we visited in Pueblo. But you gotta send me your addresses. You collect refrigerator magnets, okay? Send me your whisper your address so that everybody doesn't have to see it, and I will get one of these into the mail. Which one do you prefer? You like the elk or the bear? The elk or the bear? Santa Fe Museum. You picked the bear. Alright, the bear. The bear it is. That's yours. Just send me over your address, and I'll get it in an envelope and send out to you here in the next week or so, and get that out to you. The bear is yours. So that means I'll send Wanty, then we'll get the elk, if that's what he chooses. Cool. Alright guys, well, that's going to wrap it up, I think. I've been pulling on your ear for a bit here, and not that I got anything else to do, but yeah. Archie is all sacked out here in the chair over here, waiting for his buddy to come back and visit him at the front door there. They were kind of hissing and howling at each other, but they calmed down. Okay, should have it in the messages real quick before you log out. And my messages. mean up top, my whispers. Up in my whispers. Okay. Alright, I'll check that and make sure that I get this out to you. Coolio. Alright, and then also, guys, ain't gonna lie, as you all know, it's expensive to travel. And so what I thought I would do is start a Patreon channel, and I need to work out the details there, where you guys will get a chance to have an opportunity to choose more of this merch that I get, you know, free stuff that I get at my stops and stuff. Maybe have a weekly drawing for 2 people to win from my Patreon channel. Some of these souvenirs that I pick up, as well as photographs and special stuff that I take on along the way that isn't shared to just everybody. You'll be able to see all of my what? Cannot whisper because two author. Okay, here. Here's my email address. Simply ghost.com@gmail.com. That's my main. I also have it at What's Up Gramps, but I'll more likely get it faster at simplyghost.com@gmail.com. Shit, it's not allowing me to message in my own damn chat. Batch, could you type my email? For some reason it's not letting me get in my chat for whatever reason. simplyghost.com@gmail.com. No. Yeah, but no space. Jason, can you type that into chat? Why isn't it letting me do that? Simply ghost.com@gmail.com. Let me see what happens. Why is it? Username is me. What's up, Gramps? Username. Hang on, maybe I didn't know. Well, gotta remember my password, I guess. Oh, for the love of God. Here we go. I'll be there in a second. I'll be in the chat just a second, making me log into my account that I'm streaming from. Isn't that ridiculous? Whoops. Here we go. I'll be there in a second. I'll be in the chat just a second, making me log into my account that I'm streaming from. Isn't that ridiculous? There we go. All right. It is ridiculous. All right. Got to go to my messages and my code. Remember me for 30 days. Let's see. Do I get a chat, my own chat? Yay! Yay! Yay. Enter. There we go. There we go. Yay! Yay! I guess I'm good for 30 days and won't have to do that again. We'll see. Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know why it had to go through. Then it had to send me a message. Then I had to prove that I was who I am. Even though I'm streaming live right from this very channel. At any rate, yeah. So send me over your address. I'll get that out. So yeah. Also, join me on that Live 360 if you want to see what my travels are doing here. I'll get that phone set up on my dash. I've got a dash cam. I've got a camera up there already, but I'm gonna put my phone up there so that when I'm driving down the middle of nowhere, then I'll be able to communicate with you guys, and you'll see exactly where I'm at through that app. With that, that's kind of wrapping up everything I wanted to talk about today. Make sure you guys knew what's going on, why I've had some downtime again, and not showing you some of these cool little abandoned locations and stuff. It's because it's so damn hot. But once I get this thing going back in order, we'll start hitting some of that other. There's Archie. Say hi to everybody. Say hi to everybody. Let me see here. There you go. There he is. That's my little Archie. He decided he wanted to come up and sleep with me for a minute. Actually, he knows it's cooler here. Now he's going to kick me and bite me, and yeah. Oh, no. He's going to tuck his eyes down and go to sleep. Alright, guys. Well, that's going to call it for this round. I don't know when I'll be back on. You just got to turn on your notifications, and no telling where I'll be at. If I do get out the Pueblos tomorrow, then I'll live stream that, or actually the petroglyphs. I'll live stream that. Now that's another thing too. You'll see me doing a lot more as long as I've got solid cell service. I'll just pull out my phone and do it that way, and that way I don't have to worry so much about setting up the Starlink and whatnot. If I'm in the middle of nowhere, and that means I'm probably parked up somewhere, then again I'll connect up to the Starlink and go live from that, and so you guys will have good solid video. And then the audio, sometimes I use the mic and sometimes I don't. You guys seem to think that if it's just me, my phone works fine. If I'm going to interview somebody else, I really need to put in the lavalier mics so that I can get them a little bit better, like the other day at the museum. At any rate, this is all a learning curve for me too, but I'm having fun doing it, and I hope you guys are having fun watching it. With that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and back on out of here. And as always, I will see you guys when I see ya. Take care, guys.
sound